Hi, my name is Helen Moodley. I'm president of Focus Wealth Management. We are a fee-only investment management and financial planning firm. One of the things that is confusing to any individual investor is how the industry itself is structured and what our role might be in it. You have your traditional Wall Street wirehouse firms where the broker calls you up and says, I've got this great stock, but you have to buy it by Tuesday. And they typically were paid a commission for transacting a trade. And that was the very basic old model. And then you have the new registered investment advisor model. It's not really new, but it's only 20 years old, I suppose. And I'm a registered investment advisor, our firm is. So we all have a fiduciary liability. We have to put our clients' best interest first. We do not have the luxury of saying, well, either one of these is good for the client, but this one pays better, so I'm going to sell them that one. We have the legal responsibility of serving their interest. And that's different in the industry as a whole. It's one of the reasons why we're having this big fight now with the Department of Labor and the SEC and FINRA, which I have always called FINRA, the deceptively named FINRA, because FINRA stands for Financial Industry and Regulatory Authority. They used to be the National Association of Securities Dealers. And that's exactly who their membership still is the securities dealers, the big brokerage wirehouses. So, and the SEC is the one that monitors or regulates registered investment advisors like our firm when they have over 100 million in assets. So you have these three competing regulatory agencies. All of them want bigger turf. They want more turf. They want higher numbers of firms to regulate because that's how they justify their budgets from Congress. So now you have the Department of Labor who has decided that they really are going to enforce that anybody who gives advice on a retirement plan, and that includes IRA plans, must operate as a fiduciary. And Wall Street is screaming like a stuck pig because it means that their brokers would have to operate under a higher and better standard of service. And their viewpoint is, well, that's going to cost too much money, and that means too many people will not be able to have any advice at all. And somehow the logic that bad advice is better than no advice just simply escapes me. And I think it would escape most rational people. So one of the most interesting aspects of my practice and my business, and maybe this ties back to the days when I was a neurosurgical nurse, is the whole field of behavioral finance. And behavioral finance is the study of how people make financial decisions, what biases they bring into those decisions, what tools and techniques that you can use to help them recognize their biases and overcome their biases. Because Wall Street knows about our biases, the advertising industry knows about our biases. For example, the fear of loss is twice as strong as the reward sense from gain. So the advertising industry designs campaigns to really trigger right on those fears or right on those senses of greed. And we need to be aware of this. So we need to be aware of what our individual motivators and fears are. And you can overcome a lot of those with intellectual arguments, but many of these types of things are emotional biases. We carry around a sense of money that we developed in childhood, depending on what kind of a situation your family was in. We have a whole generation of people that we call depression era mentality. And you can see how strong these influences can be. Part of our job as advisors is to explore that whole financial decision-making arena so that our clients can make the most informed and the best decision for them. I want them to sleep at night. I want them to get the amount of growth they're willing to take the risk to achieve. But more importantly, I want them to sleep. And behavioral finance is a new field of research. It's coming out of Harvard and Princeton and some of the other great fields. To me, it's very interesting to see how these different biases can affect decision making. And I talk to people about their biases and the ones I observe, and I have to be aware of my own. And I'll tell you, my bias is I tend to be optimistic, which I think any entrepreneur is. But I have one client who said, well, I certainly don't have any of those emotional biases. And so I was able to go, denial. And that's another bias. So it's important to go through that. And it's a fascinating field to study, and it's becoming more and more relevant to our clients.